There is a point. Is there a point to all this? Let's find a point. Is there a point to my act? I would say there is. I have to. The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride, and we kill those people. Shut him up. We have a lot invested in this ride. Shut him up. Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. This can't be real. It's just a ride. But we always kill those good guys who try and tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok? But it doesn't matter, because it's just a ride. And we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. A choice right now between fear and love. The eyes of fear want you to put bigger locks on your door, buy guns, close yourself off. The eyes of love instead see all of us as one. Here's what we can do to change the world right now to a better ride. Take all that money we spend on weapons and defense each year and instead spend it feeding, clothing, and educating the poor of the world, which it would many times over, not one human being excluded, and we can explore space together, both inner and outer, forever in peace.
And that doesn't mean space like the fucking vacuum. Doesn't mean space like the vacuum of space. Just three-dimensional space. Bear with me a minute. So eating peanuts here, I fucking breathed one in. I get stuck in my throat. Right, wait a minute. So just as a man was saying there, you know, I'm sure many people have heard that, it's just a ride. But as I've said so many times before, when you, because again, you know, see, to be honest with you, I'm fucking just sick and tired of everybody taking this place seriously and, you know, whatever else. Taking this seriously is a sign that you know, humans are in a fucking bad place, you know. But, you know, hearing the phrase that it's just a ride can just be off the cuff to certain people, but when you actually contemplate, as I've spoken about so many times before, whether you're religious or you have some certain spiritual preference or whatever you think's going on, you know, for me, it doesn't really make any sense whatsoever that people would postulate that what gave rise to this, what encompasses us, what we come from, is the eternal, the infinite, God, if you like, whatever people want to put a label on. But then, in the very same breath, they start to tell you that this experience that you're having right now somehow has a transcendental meaning to it. That being that, you know, whatever happens here or whatever your behaviour may be somehow has, you know, a cause effect, you know, punishment reward type scenario to it, when it's an impossibility. Because if you, I mean, and I'm speaking to people who buy into certain religious whatevers, I mean, it's up to you at the end of the day, but I'm just saying that it doesn't make any sense to me, because your infinite, your eternal thing, God, whatever you want to call it, uncaused, you know, whatever, it cannot be changed. It cannot, you cannot add something new, you cannot take anything away from it. But yet you think you're here in this life experience changing stuff when you're not. The reality can only be surely that the only thing you can do is discover and experience what already is. And if you become disconnected from taking it as lightly as that and start to take yourself seriously and the world seriously, then you're going to start to disconnect yourself, you're going to start to become insecure, you're going to be in fear, anxiety, you're going to start buying into all sorts of absurd, silly notions, which then get legs and run and become institutions of influence and power. And before you know it, we're in the fucking mess that we're in right now. So when you hear that, it's just a ride. For me, there's so much, it's so profound, that I just wish other people would start to grasp onto it rather than clinging to this hope for certainty. I totally get that the world has bamboozled you and that you've seen some horrific things, and as I've stated so many times before, to me, I look at this place and I think it's an absurdity. It's certainly an absurdity when you have people telling you and professing that what gave rise to this was some morally, aligned thing, when the reality is totally different. If you actually take a look at it and you're no scared and you don't want to isolate yourself in some wee bubble. There's the aspect of fear of letting go of this place, that being death, that drives so many people to cling on to all sorts of fucking mental ideas and notions, as far as I'm concerned anyway. Again, I'm talking from my subjectivity here and where I'm at and how I view things, but I think it's a waste of time, a waste of your effort. For me, what people need to realise is that you're the power. Whatever you lend your attention to, whatever you buy into, you give power to it. There's certain things that you give power to that then you become subject to. And you have to be very careful about what you're buying into and what you're believing in. What you place relevance and importance on. Hello, peoples. Well, freedom awaits. This place needs fixed. Aye, I mean, look, at the end of the day, as I say, it's just a ride, so you can imagine it, this is just a canvas, and we can paint any picture we like, right? But people have lost the ability to see that. They've been born into, a rat race, a cult that tells them who to be and what's expected of them, and they never have time to stop and assess their own power within it. And we can paint any picture we like. But the way that I see it right now is that we've become so disconnected. As I've spoken about this before, I view the human body, right? People talk about artificial intelligence. I view the human body as artificial intelligence, and it has the ability to create algorithms, if you like. It has the ability to form patterns and relationships. It's like a sophisticated computer, and you are a passenger of that sophisticated AI technology. And if you don't have the instruction manual for that, and there's certain mechanisms put in place to disconnect you even further by utilising trauma and fear, then what's going to happen is that the AI, the artificial intelligence, the machine, is going to start producing all sorts of patterns. And then you're going to start to feel like a victim. I'm sure many people can relate to this. I can certainly relate to it in my younger days, through depression and whatever else, where thoughts and processes were just running randomly, and I could never contain them. It was like I was being prodded and poked by the machine. I had no pilot. I had no pilot taking responsibility for it. No pilot to discern the input and to file and categorise things accordingly and have them in their place. And just like any processing machine, if you do not do that, it's going to end up chaotic. So, you know, as I say, for me, people talk about AI. I mean, look at the technologies that we have. Any technologies that human beings, you know, bring forth are usually reverse engineered or prodding and playing with the already existing tech. Now, the already existing tech, the far advanced tech that I can see is the biological life. That's where we get our ideas for machinery and the tech that we have right now. They're based on what we are. So if you don't understand and you don't put your attention to that, then you're pretty much on autopilot where the artificial intelligence is running the show. Now, this artificial intelligence can be programmed, it can be influenced, and use the wee observer, place your attention and take relevance from certain aspects and incorporate it into the machine, like when you go to school or you're in social interactions in your family or whatever it may be. You know, it's learning patterns, it's learning relationships, and if you have certain experiences and, you know, certain circumstances, then it's going to form a certain pattern. And if you don't become aware of that, then what's going to happen is you're going to become victim of those patterns, and you're just going to feel like it's just you. This is the way you are. This is me. This is how I behave. When it's no. Because what are you really? You're certainly not the biological processes, the machinery. The only thing you are is an observer. Some wee thing inside that nobody can quite pin down, that views outwards, that places attention, and you have the ability to convince yourself of anything. But you always need to remember to tether yourself back to a central position. You're only the observer, you're not the stimulus, you're not the external world, you're not the processes that come from the external world through the stimuli into the mind or the brain. But for me, it's your duty and your responsibility to discern what's going on in regards to the stimulus, and as I say, categorise it and file it accordingly. And if you're not going through that process, as I say, just like any other processing machine, it's going to start to slow down. It's going to start to get diseased, diseased, and eventually it's going to grind to a fucking halt. So when people talk about artificial intelligence, look no further. Go and have a fucking look in the mirror. I'm not answering phones right now. Go and have a look in the mirror. So when you start to comprehend that, fuck off, I'm not answering phones right now, thank you very much. In fact, I'm just going to switch it off. So you can see these things demonstrated in the advancement of the tech. You know, now you've got virtual reality things, submersive experiences. And when you're in that submersive experience, you don't see the connections, you don't see, you know, the processes that present the world to you that you're experiencing. Right? So where does that notion, where does that tech come from? From the already existing tech. And when you're in that world, you know fine well that you're part of that virtual world, and you don't really take it seriously. But again, within that world there are certain restrictions. Just like you have restrictions right now. Limitations. And in that world you can only experience what already is. You're never going to create anything new within that experience. You're not going to add anything new to it. You can only experience what was already there. When you go into the virtual reality world, you don't start looking for meaning. Huh? Do you ever get lost in the virtual reality world and start going, oh, what's going on? I'm scared. I need meaning to this. And then go and meet somebody in the virtual world that tells you that oh, this religion or this idea. No, you bloody well don't. So for me, this is exactly what's going on here. You're partaking in some technology that you don't fully comprehend as of yet, because you've never placed relevance on it, you've never thought to look at it. Just say you're born in already running, and you think what's important is what's being told to you. I mean, you're in some fucking magical fucking place right now, and you've got people who all they give a fuck about is accumulating fucking material stuffs and chasing fantasy delusions of stature, illusions of power, superiority, all rooted in insecurity, needy behaviour, because they're disconnected, they're in fear. And just because you look at them and you think they've got stature and, you know, statural success, doesn't mean to say they've got a grasp on anything. Don't gaslight yourself based on what you observe other mutants partaking in, because they don't have a fucking clue. For me, what your duty is to ask the questions of what you are and where you are, so that you can try and get some sort of foundation, get some actual control on the matter, and not just be a victim operating on autopilot. So here we are, we're in the virtual world, we're in a virtual reality, because as I've said this so many times before as well, if people agree that life's a construct, it's a creation, then the real environment lies out with the creation. The true fundamental environment, the thing that gave rise to this, the prime mover, that's the real reality. This is no. So why are you taking it so fucking seriously? You don't realise that you can paint any picture you like. Nobody owns you. Nobody has any right over you or I. That only happens when you lend your attention to it, willfully or unwillfully, and partake in it through your consent. Consent doesn't have to happen by you signing a piece of paper like some fucking contract. It's very subtle, and people can be influenced very easily by suggestion, idea. As I say, the AI is a very powerful machinery, and if you don't constantly pay attention to the machinery, then you're going to fall victim to it. You could be here having fun. As I was saying earlier, it's a choice. As the man was saying earlier, it's a choice. And when we say love and fear, you know, I don't mean lovey, clingy, needy, fucking, oh, my girlfriend doesn't like me anymore because she's different. That's not what I'm talking about. It does become a choice. And although I have stated so many times before, for me, as a view the thing as a whole, I do view it as an abomination. Just for the way that it has to function, where one thing has to consume another thing in order to sustain. But just like any other machinery, you require constant input in order to produce power. And that just so happens to be the way this game is. But I don't view it as an abomination from a position of fear. I view it more from a position of an intellectual view. It's not driven by emotion. And again, this is another factor of the AI the biological machinery that you're occupying. Emotions are there as a tool for you. Right? Never at any point should you be acting through emotional impulse, particularly when you're not in control of the AI, because that's just formulating patterns that you then call your behaviour or who you are. These are just excuses for lazy people who don't want to take responsibility. So what game are we playing right now? What's all this governments and control and yada yada yada? What's all that about? That can only come about when people are actively saying that they're not in control of the AI, the machinery, and shirking responsibility. Because what happens then is that the AI produces patterns which create sporadic, impulsive behaviours and actions that onlookers may be concerned about and start to formulate ideas and notions of controlling that because it becomes a threat to them. Lo and behold, you end up with government. When in reality, if we're going to play a game of living as society, living in communities, government should just be a group of people who make sure that the bare necessities are taken care of. That doesn't negate the fact that every single individual should be self-sufficient, which is a whole other issue. But if we want to alleviate some aspects and have fun time and playtime, you can have a basic structure that should be catered for. At no point should these representatives of the basic infrastructure ever be invoking subjectivity and trying to impose that. Again, when you see that, what you should be witnessing it as a sign that these people are not in control of the artificial intelligence, the biological machinery. It's running them. I could sit with any one of you and break things down logically. We could reason with each other to a point that you realise, why the fuck would you ever need some external being to moderate your behaviour? Because that's exactly what's happening. Governments have fucking went so far reaching into the realms of subjectivity that it's an absolute fucking shambolic mess. And it's now being used to keep playing you against each other, to keep you in this trap of taking this game seriously, to the point that you need to battle with other subjectivity in order to have some relevance or feel secure. We can figure things out. If this is all there is and we have to be here and we want to keep playing this game, then we could make it a far better game. Let's start applying some discernment, some logic, some proper reasoning. Subjectivity should be subjectivity. It should be a free place where you and your subjectivity can partake in whatever you want with other beings of your ilk. And you mind your own fucking business. We can all have different colours, different stripes, and go about our business amongst each other, living out our subjectivity with those of our ilk, still in amongst those who don't participate. The peacock can pass the pheasant with its plumage and its ta-da without any fucking issue. The pheasant never feels the need to shut down the peacock. But yet that's where our attention is right now. Anybody who professes their government and wants to partake in the supporting of the infrastructure should be scrutinised continually. And as soon as they're seen to be venturing away from taking care of what they're supposed to be, they should be ousted fucking immediately. It's like you don't place any attention to the sheer magic that you're experiencing right now. You don't place any attention to the sheer complexity of the fucking the machine that you're in right now and its functions. You're away out there looking for other magic that's totally inferior and always will be to what you actually are. So anyhow, I think I might have digressed a wee bit. I forget what else I was going to say. But look, the whole point of this for me is continually trying to encourage people to embrace themselves. Don't be scared of what you are. I know there's shit going on in the world, but it's not your duty or your responsibility to fucking fix or change any of it. You can only be responsible for you and walk the walk that you want. If you don't and people don't, then how do you expect anything better than this? Where's the free expression here? Where's the free expression in any aspect? It just all looks the same. You've been turned into a fucking hive mind. You have been turned into a hive mind. As I say, where the AI is continually being prompted and programmed. And you think it's just you. It's just me. It's just who I am. I like getting up and doing stuff that I don't like. I like being a slave. I like being confused and annoyed and angry and frustrated with the world. I love seeing imbalance, extreme wealth to extreme poverty. I love turning my TV on and seeing absolute fucking dick sniffers that don't have a shred of fucking artistic endeavour in them, waffling on about a lot of fucking shite. I love walking down the street and seeing homes that are the exact fucking same every fucking where I go. Then you've got this, protesting. What the fuck's a protest? I am your master. I am making your life absolute shite. I'm ripping the piss out you and I'm prodding and poking you for fucking pillar to post. Then you show up at some arbitrary fucking destination, nowhere near me. You start preaching to your fucking choir about the injustice that's going on and how we're all victims and this, that, and the other. I'm not into breeding victimhood. I'm into breeding empowered, stand-up individuals who know better than to go and protest non-entities about their victimhood. They don't even have the fucking spine to take it to the violent ends. I mean, I could get on board with that Merlin standing there shouting the odds at no fucker. At least go and drag them out their buildings, level the fucking thing, give them nowhere to fucking congregate. Slap them about a wee bit and tell them we're no fucking accepting any of their pish anymore. We don't need you, government cunts. Fuck off. We're quite capable of fucking catering to ourselves. You know, I'm a poor victim and I might stand here and moan to the choirs. Oh, poor us, we're all victims. Reaffirming your victimhood over and over again. Displaying for the dick sniffers how fucking bewildered and stupid you still are. Look at all these cunts out fucking protesting. They want us to do something for them. Huh? Right, we better change this a wee bit then. So getting a wee bit disgruntled. So Mum will give him a wee pat in the back, give him a wee ice cream cone, tell him it's alright. Then you expect that it's going to change. It's only going to change when you remove your fucking attention. When you start refusing to fucking participate. That's not going to happen until you fully understand the function of the AI that you're occupying right now. So rather than running away out there, shirking your responsibility and blaming some fucking non-entity for your lack of responsibility, then you're just going to get round and round in fucking circles. Playing the victim, abuser fucking game with yourself. See if there's a shop up the town that's selling shitey, faulty products that don't do what they're supposed to fucking do. I don't feel the need to go there and stand outside protesting them. I just don't buy their fucking products anymore. They'll either need to smarten up and start providing better products, or they'll fuck off. If we're going to play these games, at least fucking sort it out properly. You want a civilization, you want a society structure, right, no worries. Let's fucking organise it properly then. What's the bare necessity of every fucking individual? Let's get that catered for. And you'll have people who will willfully and have a desire to partake in whatever avenue, whether that be in some medical type practice or whatever. Same applies to law and policing. If you're going to elect that as part of your society structure, then make the fuck sure that you've got it under fucking control. They're only supposed to be there to try and give you some sort of justice when you feel a wrong. But then we can digress into why is there even these wrongs like mad sporadic behaviours like murder, robbery, these types of things. Again, it all lies in the lack of responsibility being taken for how the artificial intelligence functions. The artificial intelligence is being moulded by circumstance and environment. And again, you have operators in there who are no operating or taking responsibility. And then they start to react on irrational emotional impulses fed to them by the artificial intelligence. Usually because there's a lack of some kind. In the majority of cases it's some poverty-driven circumstance where we get the majority of what we call crime. Again, all that is based on monetary systems. Fiat currency, no basing things on resource and what's the basic requirements of human beings. And people don't want to let it go because they've acquired power. and they're drunk on it. If things were based on resource and things were catered for in regards to the necessities, then I guarantee you what we call crime would reduce astronomically. Functioning as societies and groups, things, as I said before, things like the trivium, are mapping a way of understanding language and how to understand the processes of information, how to control the artificial intelligence so that you're guiding it. Then that way we can start to identify a lot easier where the manipulators are. And again, this is not about identifying manipulative behaviours or any of that stuff and trying to murder and eradicate. That's not what I'm about either. We're part of a spectrum here. And just like an individual, within me there is a spectrum. There is a spectrum from cold-hearted callousness to extreme love and empathy. Because I embrace the spectrum. And when you embrace the spectrum, you can start to apply it where it's needed and where it's necessary. But you've been fed this victim shite. Good versus evil and all this fucking bollocks. You're part of the infinite and the eternal. Then that same thing gave rise to what you call evil. So you better get a fucking grip on it and stop running away, trying to bury your head in the sand and hope that somebody gets rid of it for you. The best method for me is to try and comprehend what the fuck's going on rather than running away from it. There's practical use for embracing the spectrum of potential behaviour. But we're so caught up in the mess due to the circumstances that you think evil's some fucking invisible entity running about out there that you need to eradicate somehow if you can pin it down. Again, for me, we're in this situation through the circumstances, the environment. So, change the fucking circumstances, change the environment, and you're going to get a different product. But if you don't get to the roots, like how the AI functions and what your responsibility is with it, then it's always going to perpetuate the way that it is right fucking now. The need for a daddy figure, saviours, is not going to fucking help you either. You know, look at the relationship people have with things like police. Right? As I've said before, I defund the cunts so that they do the job that they're supposed to. Right? Whether you like it or no, you know, they're only supposed to be there to investigate after the fact. People are under some illusion that they've got protection from invisible daddy figures, whether it be police, government, gods, aliens, fucking angels and fairies, whatever the fuck it is, some delusional pish. You don't have protection for any of these things. Investigation can only happen after the fact. That's just the reality. They've convinced you even more. You look at police nowadays, where they go, Crime Stoppers. What the fuck are they running about with slogans like Crime Stoppers for? Huh? Who do these idiots think they are? Because they don't stop anything. They show up once it's finished. Again, if people can shirk responsibility and hand that responsibility over to others, then they can just descend into their own fucking delusional apathy and madness and convince themselves that they're victims. You're only a victim of your apathy, laziness. It's not about being the morally perfect superior being. None of that's about this. For me, the game's about free, unhindered, true expression. Once we start getting caught up and trying to judge each other at subjective levels based on some arbitrary moral and ethical fucking pseudo crap, then we're going to have serious fucking issues. There's no such thing as the perfect human being. The perfect human being is being true to yourself no matter what. That's about as close to perfect as you can get in my eyes. Being as true to yourself as you can be. And not being scared of that. Because with the way it is right now, with the victim fucking mentality, they'll have you believe that we're all fucking psychotic murderers and rapists. And again, we could descend into, or digress into chatting about why these behaviours even occur. Again, for me, environment, circumstance. And by the way, I'm not here proselytising to you as if, I'm the be all and end all. I can only speak where I'm at and how I view things. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. When I say these things, it's a way for me to put it out there and for me to analyse so that I can progress within myself as well. This is by no means the prophetic fucking guru telling you what's what. But I tell you what, I can sit with logical, rational, sane people and we can analyse the shit that's going on and get to the root of it very quickly. So you have to ask yourself the question, why the fuck are you placing relevance on these supposed authorities, these powers, when they are as thick as two sharp fucking planks? And again, this is all encompassed for me. Like, when we want to pursue a better understanding of what we're a part of here, we have to know where we are so that we can get proper foundations. If we want to play a game, as I say, if we're in some finite contained area and there's no way to penetrate that, then let's play a different fucking game. Let's turn the place into a fucking playground so that the future generations that come can enjoy their fucking self. Just like any other technology, you usually use it to enjoy yourself or to make something better. That's the way I view this life thing. It's just a fucking game. Make it what you will. Make it what you will. And again, that is the only thing that exists, is your will. And again, when we talk about free will, if you're somebody who is disconnected from the AI, then what is your free will? Your free will is only going to be the ability to say no to the impulses that it offers you. Your true free will can only come forward when you are mastering the AI and you're now driving it. Then you can direct what you would call your free will, free thought, new thought, which again is only something that you can discover. But right now, when we talk about free will, and I'm including myself in it here because I've still work on myself every single day, there's impulses that happen. Now the majority of people just go with those impulses and say it's just them, it's just the way it is. When it's no, you've got the ability to refuse the impulse. What's your immediate reaction? Halt it. Question it. And I'm not talking about a fight or flight type situation where you're standing on a fucking train track and there's a train coming at 200 miles an hour. Of course, the AI will produce an impulsive reaction of get out the fucking road of that, which is to your benefit, of course, if you want to continue partaking in the virtual reality experience of Earth. Talking about the societal, psychological, impulsive behaviours, habits, and such like. And what your relationship is to these things. That's when they talk about that, when you look at, you know, some of these philosophers, oh, you don't have free will, you're just a result of, you know, circumstance and previous events, blah, blah, blah. That's what they're talking about. The AI is formulating patterns based on previous circumstances and events and gone with those familiar patterns. So in that situation, as I said before, when you're disconnected, then of course you don't have what you would call free will. The only free will you have at that moment is the free will to refuse the impulse. And you know that it's AI because you don't have to put any volition into formulating relations or patterns, colour, pictures, scenarios, sequences of events. These things are happening with your volition. Same as the other functions of the AI, temperature, processing of input foods, regulating heartbeat, yada yada. You don't have a volition in any of that aspect. That's part of the artificial intelligence, the makeup of the machine that has the program in it and it runs. Which again shows you that, you know, it's so that you have a better experience, which is quite beneficial if you think about it. Same when you drive a car. You don't have to have constant volition, your attention into how the engine functions or what's happening with the contact of the rubber on the road or any of that thing. Your sole responsibility is to keep it on the fucking road and make sure you don't plough it into a fucking tree. But you don't regulate the timing or the fuel intake or the air intake. You don't do any of that. And it makes the experience of driving a vehicle all the more better because you can relax and have fun. I use that analogy as very same as this machine, this vehicle that you're operating right now. Turn the lights on. Get your eyes on the road. Understand how it works. Then you'll have a better time. Instead of sitting in the back seat while it fucking crashes into a tree and then running about blaming everybody. Oh, I'm a poor victim. My car crashed into a fucking tree and I need to go and protest somebody. So sir, you're here at court because your vehicle smashed into another. It's Illuminati's fault, Judge. I'm a victim. It's government people's out there. They made me. They made me sit in the back seat. No worries. what else have I got here? Language, you kind of touched on that. Language is just another part of the processing where, you know, you did have that responsibility where you paid attention to language and you formulated probably a faulty comprehension in relationship with language that was then influenced subtly by suggestion and various other means. Language is just noises. Just a noise. Doesn't define anything. And this Adrenochrome thing, let's get a wee chat about some of that, shall we? So actually Marty that triggered this for me. Obviously I'm aware and I've heard of all this stuff, so I'm not going to get into it too much because, to be honest with you, I don't have a full grasp on it, but I just found a couple of wee things interesting. You know, we've heard this kind of stuff and it's been there in storybooks in different forms, you know, of, you know, blood ritual sacrificing, you know, a lot of that kind of thing going on. And there's, you know, it was in a movie that I missed, but Marty picked up on it because he watched it again recently. And there was a movie called A Clockwork Orange. Now in this movie, A Clockwork Orange, the Droogs, Billa, 77th Brigade, Billa, who think they're Droogs and all that fantasy pish flaps, get it right up, use your sack sniffing clowns. Anyhow, in this movie, A Clockwork Orange, they go to a bar, a milk bar, where they consume various milk drinks. Yeah. Let me just read this for you. The Korova milk bar sold Milk Plus Velocet and Synthamesk or Adrenochrome, which is what we were drinking. Moloko Plus or Knifey Moloko stemmed from the Russian word for milk, is the barbiturate spiked milk served within the Korova milk bar. It's mentioned in both the movie and book when Alex and his droogs drink Adrenochrome to prepare for a night of violence, and just in the book when Alex returns alone after his release from state jail. There are 3 types of Moloko Plus served within the milk bar: Velocet, mixed with opiates; Synthamesk, mixed with synthetic mescaline; and Adrenochrome, mixed with Adrenochrome and other hallucinogens. It can be served to minors because of its lack of alcohol. So, I thought that was quite interesting. Then I just started to have a wee faff about myself. So I just done the usual, you know, what is this stuff? I'm sure everybody's heard about this. If anybody's know, you know, there's the suggestion and, you know, evidence that there's certain factions within, you know, power structures who partake in consuming adrenochrome through a process of tormenting and torturing children to release the adrenaline into their blood, whereupon they're killed at that moment and their blood is consumed. And there's various, you know, evidences about, you know, signs that these people are partaking in it, like high iron content in their blood, so that it shows up as a kind of, you know, obviously the internal organs can't deal with it, so they'll get like a yellowing of the skin, like jaundice, and like blackening around the eyes because, as I say, of the high iron content within it. But, you know, as I say, I'm not that clued up. I'm aware of these types of shenanigans, and I don't doubt it. Right? I'm not on board and making any definite assertions about who or what's partaking in it, and I'm not denying it. I'm just talking about it because it's out there and offering up, you know, if you've not heard of it, whatever. So, aye, Monsters Incorporated was another one. We've seen this type of thing through various, you know, medias, that, you know, Monsters Incorporated. I remember that cartoon from Morgan in our younger years, where it was about scaring the children in order to contain some essence, some energy that could be utilised as a power, you know. So, I mean, as I say, people are fucked in the mind, and I don't doubt any of that for a second. And if you look at old literature and stuff, you know, it's been there, it's always been spoke about, you know, this idea of sacrifice and blood and all this kind of fucking stuff. So it's not something that you could hand wave dismiss based on your unwillingness to think that that would go on, because human beings are capable of all sorts of fucking absurdities. Anyhow, how are we all people? Flat Earth Banner, AZ, Dave Johnson, Custard, Pale Horse, Matthew C4, V Thomas, The Eye, Guns of Navarone, Lobo, John C. Oddity, Mega Noob. Aye, it is, it's recognised Mega Noob, that's what I was going to get to in a minute. Ben Grizzly Adams, Flat Phrase, Matthew C4, Tanya, how you doing? The Eye, Paul Reed, Boris Chops, Holy Magnet, Brent the Ghent, Pico, R Green, Mick Bailey, World Without Curve Perfection, Ethereal Sky. Well, I'm totally on board with that, Ethereal Sky. You know, this, you know, again for me sacred because of the innocence and the power that a child has, because they're fresh and they're new to it. Now you can offer that child the tools and watch them fucking grow. Watch this place transform in one generation. Right, so any motherfucker who would dare to take power over an innocent and abuse them, again, for me and my subjectivity, they do deserve a bullet in the back of the fucking head. Simple as that. It's a fucking no-no. Everybody remembers being a child, how vulnerable you were and how you felt, and that need that you had just to have security, warmth and nurture, so that you could be free to plant your roots and fucking grow freely. Anybody that dares fuck with that is a cunt. So as I say, right now within the tech, it's a shit show going on. So for me, there can be a clean-up operation. And we should have a clean-up operation, because the majority is just want to be free and live a good life and freedom and love, no needy, clingy, desperate, oh please love me, I don't mean that. So for the majority is that want that, why the fuck are we sitting about? Where is your attention? You need to ask yourself what it is you really want and what you're placing your attention on. Because to think for a minute that this type of thing is happening to children anywhere makes my blood fucking boil. Anyhow, where was I? Ethereal Sky Chris says, Des Sherwood, hello. Conu Log, Wilson Fox, TMF, Matthew C4, Tasty Wheat. Oops, it's just jumped, fuck. Sorry if I've missed you. Jacqua, Mega Noob, Matthew C4, Pandemonium, hello. Ameth, Lobo, Ben Grizzly Adams. Skylight and Sea, Hidden in Plain Sight. Neil Williams, Daniel Reed, Dave Johnson, Ben Grizzly, Party Pack, V Thomas, Steve HV, Sir Camley. I see all this with this fucking contradiction virus shite. You know, you see again, this is what I'm talking about the disconnection of people and how they're in such fear, right, that they take this place fucking seriously to the point that they're running about with fucking face nappies on, goggles, running about scared of some invisible thing. Again, if you come to the realisation that this is not to be taken seriously, that it is just a ride, then death and the fear of it should go away. You have to ask yourself, what drives that fear? Why are you scared of death? Because I tell you something, that fear of death is the biggest control mechanism that any manipulator has. Because if they can make you scared of that, and then offer up something to alleviate that fear of that, they then have more power. You're not going to be corrupted if you're not scared of death. Again, I can walk you through it. What are you scared of? You're part of the eternal. Scared of losing your personality, what you think's your self-identity. You've always had your essence. Your true self-identity has always been there. Why do you think you don't feel older? Your body gets old and decrepit, but internally, the thing that you know as you, that's never aged. You've been the same since fucking day dot. I don't care what age you are now. You might have deluded yourself and tried to convince yourself that you've somehow made some sort of transition. You may learn aspects of the circumstance and the environment, but those are learned aspects. They're no you. The AI has learned certain aspects of circumstance and situations. But you, as the wee observer of it all, you've never aged. You never will age. You've been the exact same fucking thing since the fucking minute you got here. And you'll be the exact same fucker the minute you leave. So what are you worried about? I'm sick and tired of the same thing I've always been. Why is every cunt not just having fun here? What the fuck is it going on? Why is this not just a big party? Why am I not seeing fucking free expressions of art every fucking metre that I move? Why is every individual home not an expression of them? What is this Borg hive mind pish all about here? Why are you all willfully partaking in a cult? Some fucking idiot's idea. They've taken over the virtual reality experience and turned it into an absolute shite show, and you're fucking helping them. Hello.
Hello, the phone got an end since blue.
I'll help me today then.
Right, okay.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
Right, bye. Where was I again? Right. Adrenochrome. Chemical compound with a molecular formula, blah blah, produced by the oxidation of adrenaline. The derivative carbazochrome is a hemostatic medication. Despite a similarity in chemical names, it is unrelated to chrome or chromium. Blah blah. Effect on the brain. Several small-scale studies involving 15 or fewer test subjects conducted in 1956. By the way, I'm just reading this for Wikipedia. I just wanted to see what they had to say about it. Reported that adrenochrome triggered psychotic reactions such as thought disorder and derealization. Researchers Abraham Hoffer and Humphrey Osmond claimed that adrenochrome is a neurotoxic, psychotomimetic substance and may play a role in schizophrenia and other mental illnesses. So that tells you what's going on with people if they're actually partaking in it, doesn't it? And what they called the Adrenochrome hypothesis, they speculated that mega doses of vitamin C and niacin could cure schizophrenia by reducing brain adrenochrome. The treatment of schizophrenia with such potent antioxidants is highly contested. In 1973, the American Psychiatric Association reported methodological flaws in Hoffer's work on niacin as a schizophrenia treatment and referred to follow-up studies that did not confirm any benefits of the treatment. Blah blah. I've seen other aspects here. I'm just going to scan through because there was reference to it. Adrenaline helping with certain. Adrenaline, also known as epinephrine, is a hormone and medication. Adrenaline is normally produced by both the adrenal glands and a small number of neurons in the medulla oblongata. Kid on, we know what that means, right? Where it acts as a neurotransmitter involved in regulating visceral functions, e.g. respiration. It plays an important role in the fight or flight response by increasing blood flow to muscles, blah blah, right, we know all that, right, that's what happens with us. Blah blah. First isolated in 1985. As a medication, it is used to treat a number of conditions including anaphylaxis, cardiac arrest and superficial bleeding. Inhaled adrenaline may be used to improve the symptoms of croup. It may also be used for asthma when other treatments are not effective. It is given intravenously by injection into a muscle, by inhalation, or by injection just under the skin. Common side effects include shakiness, anxiety and sweating. A fast heart rate and high blood pressure may occur occasionally. It may result in abnormal heart rhythm. While the safety of its use during pregnancy and breastfeeding is unclear, the benefits to the mother must be taken into account. A case has been made for the use of adrenaline infusion in a place of widely accepted treatment of inotropes for preterm infants with clinical cardiovascular compromise, although there is sufficient data which strongly recommends adrenaline infusions as a viable treatment. So, I'm just kind of skimming it here. Obviously, for anybody that's looking at it, you would have to go a wee bit deeper, and I don't really know that much. But I'm seeing these continued stories. I even see that Trump was questioned on the Q thing again. And I think people have to be careful of this stuff. Again, the structure prevails. If we're not addressing, for me, if we're not addressing what I've spoke of here this evening in regards to what governments are and what their duties are, and we're not partaking in the development and the empowerment of each individual, then I'm no fucking interested. Because if you don't cater to those fundamental aspects, you're just going to keep repeating the same shite over and over and over again. Oh, it might get better for the generations of now. What's going to happen to the other generations as it starts to deteriorate again and the corruption creeps back in? Same shite. Oh, fucking, you need to hear this, by the way. I'm not even going to show the wee twat's face, right? But I was buckled just as I came on. I've got a recommended thing in my feed. Simon Plamf. I was allegedly debunked by the Flat Earther. This is my response, and I think he's responding to Eric Dubai, who I think has done a video in response to him, which I've not seen. But we hear this.
2018, I released this video. In it, I tear down Eric Dubai.
I tear down. In it, I tear down Eric Dubai. Let's see that again.
In it, I tear down Eric Dubai.
I tear down. This wee guy is as thick as fucking shit. Absolute fucking pamphlet of a boy. Same as the rest of them. Right? Absolute fucking roasters. Let's just hear it again, because it's too fucking funny.
Video. In it, I tear down Eric Dubai's ridiculous.
I tear down I teared it down. What you been up to, son? I teared it down that brick wall. Fucking idiot. Teared down. Here's the thing, Plamf, Simon Plamf and the rest of you fucking absolute ingrates. You're not going to change reality, right, because you've got some fantasy about reality. You can kick and scream and cry and tear down all you fucking like. It's not going to go away. I debunked this and I debunked that. Now your language, your words transformed reality. Brilliant. What kind of fucking delusional, mentally ill retard are you? Where was I? People asking to fucking come and speak to me here. Will we get a try? Time me on. Aye, fuck it. Right, let me see here. I'll go back to this fucking shite again. Let me see. So, Camley. Link sent. Bjorn's wife. Somebody sent me a cartoon. Somebody sent me a cartoon picture of a globular earth. I can go one better on that. I can make it spin. See that? Science. It's the number one scientific proofs that I live on an absurdity. Because here it is, I see it on my telly. No need to ask any more questions. That is the level of sophistication we are experiencing within the virtual reality tech. That we take things based on what we see.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi. Oh, shit, sorry. Yeah, Del, how are you? Sorry, that was my proximity alarm, sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, Del, look, I've been listening to you for a long time, and I've wanted to speak to you for goddamn ages. All right,
Right,
so
get your tongue out my arse and get to the point.
Okay, sorry, yeah. Okay, so I've worked as an engineer around the world and stuff, and I worked at like ITER. I can see ITER from where I'm actually looking now.
You can see what?
ITER's like sorry.
Oh, sorry, what was that? You can see what?
I can see ITER, it's an experimental fusion project. I can see it from where I'm stood now from my house.
All right.
Yeah, I used to work there anyway. I'm an engineer, man, and I fucking no way believe that the Earth is fucking round, man. And whoa, I'm a bit nervous, mate. I'm a bit nervous.
Based on what? How did you come to the realisation that it's not a ball? How did you come to that realisation?
How did I come to that realization?
Aye.
Because, Jesus, there's some. I came to the realization because, well, if the world is like round as they say it is, you can't prove it. Because like I've seen the likes of you saying that you can't prove it. I'm like,
But no,
if you
what I
actually
say, what about you? What about you? If you're an engineer, what's your reasoning? So, I mean, if you're an engineer, what kind of engineering are you involved in?
Mechanical engineering. So basically, what my reasoning is like, if you go into outer space, yeah, I don't think the conservation of momentum is proved without the effect of gravity. That's one of my first things. Okay.
What?
The conservation of momentum.
Go back
yeah?
to vacuums. What are you talking about with vacuums?
Yeah, well, no, not vacuums. The conservation of momentum is not proven unless it's within like gravity. So.
What do you mean within the reference frame that we experience right now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What do you mean?
So,
What do
like,
you mean
if
by
you
gravity?
go into space, they can't prove it.
What do you mean by gravity, though?
Well, I think gravity is bullshit.
The conceptual extrapolation based off of the way objects fall.
Yeah, Del, I think gravity is bullshit. The same same as you.
But what avenue are you talking about? Because things fall and they have a direction which is downwards relative to us. So, you know, I don't really know specifically what you mean.
Okay, well, my personal belief about the world is that we're in some kind of like some weird kind of like augmented reality, and when we go in, we're on this world, and if something drops, it drops, and everyone's trying to get a reason behind it, and the reason nobody knows, but they relate that reason to like many other things in the universe, and they think they fucking know everything, and they don't.
No.
They're just idiots.
Well, that's the thing, because there's an extrapolation being made based on the way objects fall to try and, you know, explain absolute absurdities. And again, the way in which objects fall has got absolutely fuck all to do with the shape of the Earth. It does not define the Earth's shape whatsoever.
100%. But I mean, do you think the world is seriously flat, or do you think it's round, or would you say that you don't have a fucking clue? Because I
don't know what the full dimensions are, but I wouldn't say that the world's flat, because there's high points and there's low points. So my experience and what I know and can test for myself, it's demonstrably level.
Yeah.
Level meaning
100%.
Aye, no level as in curved level. There may be curved parts to it, but I don't know what the full dimensions are. One thing's for sure is that it's not what they're told us it was.
Yeah, well, that is damn for sure. And if it is fucking round, man, then it's like bigger than we think it is, right? Because like their equations don't fit.
No, because standing bodies of water don't fucking bend around the exterior of fucking spheres. So.
Yeah, and that, yeah.
So it's no bigger.
Yeah. So Del, like, it was really good to like speak to you. I'm gonna try to speak to you one more time. But can you tell me you've been through it before, and you always say that you don't know the nature of reality. Like, what is like your inclination to what the most possible reason for reality is at the moment?
Fuck all. Just check. Well,
that's cool, man. I appreciate it.
Well, as sentience, we only have experience. So the purpose or the reason for it is experience. It's just another thing to experience. It doesn't have any purpose per se. Other than that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Listen, Del. I had a lot more things to say to you tonight, and but I'm like, for some reason, fucking nervous. I don't understand it. But like, I'll call you another time, like maybe Saturday night and stuff, and I can possibly tell you more. I'm afraid, but I'm sorry. I'm just like nervous. I don't understand it, man.
Well,
But
I seem to
whatever.
have that effect on people for some fucking reason, but
Yeah, I don't want you shouting my fucking head off, man.
well, I'll only shout your head off if you're obviously fucking at it, you know. Some people are subtle, so
Alright.
I'll no shout if you're
Hey,
if you're a subtle troll. I'll play the game with you, but if you're just an obnoxious troll, then I'm just going to shout at you because I can't be bored.
Yeah, by the way, Del, I used to live in Greenock for 1 year, man. Do you know Greenock?
Aye.
Yeah, I used to live there. I used to work at Dewson Babcock in
Oh,
Scotland.
That must mean
And I lived in...
we've got some sort of connection now, then, huh? Because you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool, man. Greenock is cool, man. I loved it.
It's fucking cool, alright, it's freezing.
Yeah. I know it's freezing, but it's cool
Bit of a
stuff.
shithole, but hey ho.
All right, mate.
No worries.
Thanks very much. Take care.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Right, anyhow, can't mind what else to say. Not had anything else to say. Oh, yeah. Oh. What was that? Right. What was I saying to you? Nah, it's smashing the weather's fucking brilliant here. Emerald Rider, how you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Andrew, I've seen you had put a wee video. I don't know if Andrew's about. Good to see that you're just keeping active and keeping busy, helping the community there, mate. And why not? I know that it's just turning spring for you, and I'm as jealous as fuck. Because we're now heading into fucking autumn. And it's just pissing down all the time as usual. It fucking fills me with fucking joy. That's another aspect of this fucking virtual fucking gaff. You should just be free to go and fucking live wherever you want. If you want to be a fucking moron and live here under the grey blanket and the piss and rain all the time, carry on. Hope you're happy in it. Is there anybody in Tenerife likes that wants to have a life swap? I'm up for it. Get in touch. ASAP. You can have the shed and everything. Everything was invented and invited. Did you make it? You made it home, Crazy Polish Man, on your fucking Chinese motorcycle. I'm surprised it never melted. Under the strain of going 30 miles an hour over a distance of 2 miles. I'm surprised that you made it home in one fucking piece. Crazy Polish Man bought a Chinese motorcycle. Hurry up and get a big boy's bike. Boris Chops. Andy Borwick, how's it going? Long time no see. Chris Hayes, Crystal Rod of Power. Oh. Get it up, you. You better be careful you don't go over a pothole. That fucking Chinese bike will end up you. The metal will all fucking fold and go right up your sphincter. Right. Nobody's got anything to say. I'm off, Ski Pops. It's been a pleasure. Don't know if I offered you anything this evening or whatever, but as I say, it is what it is. Right. I'll see you at the weekend, folks. Take care of yourselves. Bye.